What's up YouTube, it is your boy JB and we're here today with the review for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. The reunion, season 11, the reunion part 2. Alright you guys, so before we get into this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and are not yet subscribed to the channel, I need you guys to do me a favor, stop taking me out on this date, having me pay for my meal at the end of it. Hit that subscribe button, the like button, notifications on, share the video, and with that out the way, without further ado, let's discuss the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion part 2. Is it due? 2. Alright you guys, so this episode it actually picked up where the last one left off. If you guys remember that Andy was talking to Erica about Tom, right? And about him being faithful and whatnot, right? So Erica says that she was faithful throughout the years up until she filed for divorce, right? Now Erica did say one thing in this segment that we do know that that's true, right? With marriage, no marriage is perfect, right? No marriage is perfect. No relationship is perfect. Relationships and marriages have their ebbs and flows, right? So you have your good times, you have your bad times. Because someone asked the question of, it's so interesting how, but I still think it's interesting that Erica has talked so positively about Tom over the last few years, but now Tom has had this major decline, and we'll talk about that in a little bit as well, right? So then Andy was asking her the question of, if Tom was cheating on you with so many women and all this stuff, why did you just, get up and leave? She says that she could not get up and leave, right? And that's at one point Andy said, but I know what you make on this show and you make pretty good. So then she said to him, because she's like, what am I gonna do when he cuts up those 2 credit cards? And Andy was like, but I know what you make on this show. And she was like, every paycheck that I made, I gave it to Tom, so I didn't have control over anything. That sounds like a dumbass. That's a problem right there. And you look stupid. If that were true, you gonna hand over a check that someone signs to Erica Girardi, not Tom Girardi. It doesn't say Erica and Tom. It says Erica Girardi. Any check that someone gives you, you gave it over to him. Why? Why? Why would you do that? That makes no sense to me, right? So Andy then asked her the question of, with the man, with Tom, did you get out of them? Did you go file for divorce because you saw that the ship was sinking? She says, no, I didn't see that the ship was sinking. I saw that the person was sinking. Okay. Semantics, but okay. Because it's basically, you're saying the same thing. You saw that Tom was sinking, so you jumped ship. It's still this, he's still on the ship. Tom is the ship, but okay. I'm gonna let Erica have that one, right? So then a viewer asked the question of, if there's no money to be had, why is this divorce taking so long, right? So Erica says that the reason that the divorce is taking as long as it is because of the conservatorship, right? So then we talk about Tom's mistresses, right? So Andy asked the question of, well, how many, because they asked the question of the mistresses, right? When she was talking to Garcelle, she lied to Garcelle about the mistresses. She said she lied because of who it was. So then Andy says, well, how many were there? She says, that I knew of, there was 3. And she said she found out about one of them the day that she was leaving. And that's when she went through Tom's phone, his flip phone, and saw that the woman sent a picture of her tits. And she sent back a text message, nice tits, you dumb bitch. But it was his flip phone, so it was all a run-on sentence, so she didn't know how to space. Erica. I haven't had a flip phone in years, right? But I do know how to text on a flip phone. The space bar, it literally is on the phone. It's on one of the numbers. It's on the pad, right? Because flip phones, they're touch tone. So it's on one of those touch tones. Excuse me, y'all. Because y'all know, like on the flip phones, like where you have the pound sign, or for the younger people, the hashtag sign. the pound sign, there's because most times it's the pound sign and it has a little thing that looks like this. But hey, whatever. So she didn't know how to do it. So then, Andy asked Kyle. You said you've heard stories. Kyle fumbled and bumbled and just talked over herself. She's talking about, well, I didn't, well, this, well, that, well, this. Talking about the fact that she said one time that, she's just listening to the stories that Erica has told over the years, this and this and that. Kyle, I see through you. Let's move on. All right, you guys. So, now this part I did not know that they had an auction at the law firm, right? So a viewer said that they were very shocked when they saw the photos of the auction and that they saw a pair of panties that were being sold. So Erica says that those weren't her panties, that Tom had bought them for someone. I'm like, oh, okay. She did talk about Tom and him being in this home, and then that picture. See, I never saw that picture of him with the black eye. The fuck happened to him? I mean, y'all really are trying to run with this narrative that his health is he's 80, so I'm pretty positive his health is declining, but okay. So she, Andy asked her how does she feel about the victims, right? This time she didn't say the alleged victims, but she says that, she feels bad for the victims. I'm sorry, I don't see where you feel bad for the victims, because this whole entire season, you've made yourself a victim. So I don't necessarily see it, right? So then she says that, what Tom was alleged of doing, she hoped that he didn't do it. Okay. Now, me personally, like I said, I've said this the entire season, and I'm going to continue to say, I don't think Erica knew full well the logistics of what Tom was doing. I think Tom was doing shady shit and doing it under the guise of Erica. But I don't think Erica full well knew everything that Tom was doing, right? So we put a pin in Erica and we move over to long-winded as Dorit. So Dorit, she feels that she's just an easy target, and that when she she is long-winded, but she also feels that she gives a lot of detail. Dorit, you talk too much. That's just plain and simple. You talk too much. You don't let anybody else get a word in edgewise. Like, look at how you did Garcelle in part 1 of the reunion. You screamed at her. She was talking. Now, granted, you both were talking over each other, but you don't give anyone a chance to talk. You don't feel, and she doesn't feel that she hijacks the conversations. Yes, you do. But okay, go off, go off, go off. It was funny that Andy, when he was yawning, am I boring you? He said no. I would have said, yes, you're boring me. So then Andy has a question for Kyle. So the question was, for Kyle, both Dorit, Garcelle, and Carlton have all said that you talk over people. And Garcelle's like, who's Carlton? Exactly, is what Kyle said. I had forgot about Carlton. What is her last name? Gebbia, the Wicca. The Wicca. She was just kooky for me. Carlton was just very, very kooky. I'm so glad that they did not bring her back. Yeah, I'm kind of glad they didn't bring her or Joyce back, because even Joyce was annoying. Somebody who had something to say about Erica Reed. I'm just thinking about Joyce, and I was just thinking, because I was just looking at somebody that had something to say about Erica recently, and she was only a 1-season person. Catherine Edwards. Catherine Edwards had something to say about Erica. I'm like, really, Catherine? I didn't have an issue with Catherine her season. I'm just like, wow, girl, we ain't thought about you in years. But okay, go off. So then we talk about the comment that Dorit made about her, her kids being cultured and, knowing different people, but it coincidentally was Dorit's staff. And Dorit was like, well, I knew I've known different people for years, even before my kids were born. And Garcelle defended her. I'm like, okay, if you want to defend that, cool. My thing, the issue that I had with that is, what was I had? I didn't. I know I had an issue with it, and I think it was just the fact that the people that you kept mentioning were the hired, your housekeepers and whatnot, right? Do you? And the thing was, do you know people who look like me outside of the people who work for you? That was the only question that I had. That was really it. I didn't. I don't think that she's racist. I just think that she doesn't. Here we go again. She talks too much. She doesn't think before she speaks. But that's neither here nor there. Garcelle defended it, so hey, if Garcelle defends it, I'm cool with it, right? Because if she's cool with it, hell, what am I gonna complain about? But let's move on. All right, guys. So these last two scenes of the reunion, one of them I liked. One of them I was like, what the fuck? This shit with Renna and Amelia and Scott Disick. Amelia and Scott Disick have broke up. Who cares? Scott Disick is old as he's actually Scott is older than I am. I just thought about that. Scott is older than me. Like I don't care who broke up with who. So Renna says that Amelia broke up with him. I guess somewhere along the lines, him and Courtney were DMing. I don't know. I don't care. Amelia's not with Scott. Renna was using that for a storyline. Renna was happy. Renna was elated. Renna was thrilled that Amelia was dating Scott. You cannot pay me to believe that Renna wasn't happy about that. Because outside of that, what was Renna's storyline this season? Anybody? Anybody? Renna had no storyline. Actually, Renna, when you think about it, when is the last time Renna had a storyline? So, yeah, we have that. Then we had this discussion about Drake following Renna on Instagram. He still follows her. For what reason? Who knows? He still follows. It's funny. He follows her, but she doesn't follow him. I mean, she don't have to follow him back, but hey, she follows him. He follows her. She don't follow him. Somebody else follows her. Don't really give a shit. Whatever. She did so. She filmed for Days of Our Lives. So Days of Our Lives has a little like a mini series on Peacock. It's called Beyond Salem. Salem is the name of the fictional town where they live. Salem, they're not in Massachusetts. Yes, they are. They're in the Midwest. Salem is in the Midwest. The town of Salem is in the Midwest in Days of Our Lives. So they might be in Mass. So it's Salem. That's the name of their hometown, Salem. So let's move on from there. So then we wrap up the reunion with Kyle and Kathy, right? I really felt bad for Kathy in this thing because I know those feelings, right? So, we talked about their relationship, right? And Kathy, she still feels like it was just a big waste of them not talking to each other for as many years as has went by, right? She said that, the first time that she heard about Kyle talking about them being estranged was when she watched that episode that they showed. And then she also was like, she thought about her mom a lot when she was watching Kim and Kyle in the back of that limo, season 1, argue, and then just watching the issues that have, troubled Kim over the years, right? And I really, really felt bad for Kathy because I know I get where Kathy is coming from, right? Because you don't want to. This is like our family bubble. Like we know the stuff, but we don't want to show it to other people. Basically, kind of in the sense that we don't want to show that negative stuff to our, show it. But she also feels that if it can help someone to avoid the mistakes that they've made, then it's a good thing, right? And then she starts talking about, they talk about American Woman, and has she ever watched any episodes. She says she doesn't watch a lot of TV, and that, you know, she doesn't even talk to any of her mom's friends. And then she talks about this video that they have of her mom, and she just breaks down crying because she says it's just hard with her not being here. And I was like, oh, I was like, I understand Kathy so much because I'm actually dealing with that currently, right? Like, I've just been thinking about my mom a lot these last few days, these last few weeks. And it's just like, I cannot believe. And 4 years has gone by. It's next year will be 5 years. And it's just like, I still can't believe she's not here with me, right? So I got where Kathy was coming from. And I still have my moments where I break down and cry too. So we're gonna send you a air hug, Kathy. Love you, because I really did. I really felt for Kathy in that scene. But that's it, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Leave your comments. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell button so you guys are notified of when I drop anything else. Share the video, and until the next one, stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed, and I'm gonna catch you guys later. Bye, guys. I need to go update my computer.